benefit of the doubt, assuming as true what this witness is saying, it's an A and B on a dog. It's assault and battery. He punched the dog. He didn't torture or kill or maim. So I don't even think by a probable cause standard that there's any justification for binding over on this 10-year felony, which would be comparable to the bind over on the GBH judge. I think that, quite frankly, on this record, it's a bit ridiculous. So I'm asking the court to decline to bind over on that. With regard to witness tampering or interference, judge, the claim was that my client called his own cell phone and that the witness picked up.
Well, he knew he wasn't calling himself.
He knew he wasn't calling himself. However, people can call their phones from jail for various reasons. I don't think that's speculative to see if your phone is still working, to see if it's operable, to see who has access to it. Perhaps someone stole it, who knows? But all of that to say is her testimony was that he said, please don't move. Again, Judge, I don't even think it's a question of fact as to whether that rises to the level of witness tampering. This is not a situation of, non-stop phone calls, threats, or things of that nature. It's very sparse. And so for those reasons, Judge, I'm asking the court not to add those 2 counts with regards to the remaining counts. Will object to that argument.
All right, Mr. Leckie.
Briefly, when it comes to an animal, I mean, it's not just one party.
You can stop. You're not going to get me. You're not going to get me there.
And on the witness intimidation as itself, she did say there were multiple phone calls.
2. I think she said 2.
We didn't ask.
No, you're right. You're right.
We didn't ask how many there were.
Duchesne said 2.
But there are multiple. I know it's not on this record, but more than once where he's saying those statements. All it takes is once in this people's possession to effectuate some kind of tampering. He literally stated, don't come to court.
Do the jury instructions require any kind of a threatening language or intimidating language?
That's where I was at. I mean, don't specifically say so, because there's multiple. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll give you a chance, counsel.
Instructions that involve there's interfering, there's intimidating, there's threatening. I am specifically going for interfering with witness intimidation, which specifically requires that intended to impede, interfere with, or prevent friction. I think
a begging phone call fits that definition, Mr. Bukowski. But I'll give you a chance to argue that.
I just, can you clarify which tactic you're relying on, just like the statute?
So it's technically MCL 750122, and then it's subsection 3, B and C, but the criminal jury instruction is 37.5.
Well, if we're looking at the same thing with
Attorney on these 2
people that represented, that they're pursuing it under subsection 3, and yes, that's required. A person shall not do any of the following by threat or intimidation. And discourage or attempt, etc. So if that's the language that the people are in fact relying on, no, I don't think there's been any evidence in this record concerning any threats or intimidation. So simply a statement, don't come to court, alone is insufficient to justify a binding over on this subsection statute.
And Judge, if I may, I'm referring to section B or C, which requires an influence or an attempt to influence or an encouragement or attempt to encourage.
And that's fair. It's predicated on a person shall not do any of the following by threat or intimidation. So, I mean, it's...
All right. Somebody bring me the language, because obviously you 2 aren't reading the same thing. No, I don't mind. Yeah. Or just give me the number. I got the jury instructions right here.
It's 750, or I don't know.
Okay, I'll find.
I just had the jury instruction.
750.
Hold on, he's got it on paper. I love paper.
I know, Judge. That's why I always have to be clear.
Well, but does that clarify that it's under subsection 3?
So
it doesn't.
It says criminal jury instruction 37.5A, interfering with witness.
This is the section.
Yes, but now for purposes of the information, if his basis and my client titled
code is generally just 122. It doesn't go into that, but I'm referring
to right, and so the actual language of the statute, to be clear, says a person shall not do any of the following by threat or intimidation. Do we agree on that? In subsection 3, yes.
So the statute requires we start with threat or intimidation, 2, and then
Correct.
options what they're trying to do with the threat or intimidation.
Correct. And then the
Mr.
options include candidly.
Hold on. Mr. Leckie, you agree that that's the way the statute reads?
I'll agree, and I'll also include that intimidating behavior is called.
As requested by the prosecution. AOI date is next week at 9 a.m. Anything as to bond?
Well,
12-3. That's the AOI, 12-3. What'd I say? Okay. Anything else? Good luck downtown, Mr. Roche.
Oh, so good. But Drew, briefly, just
Go ahead.
like the defendant's phone privileges to be revoked or at least his number and the explaining witness Heather and Valerie.
Do we have the ability to just block numbers? Then I will order that his number be blocked.
Both the victims.
Well, Heather said twice that he didn't know her number, so, and there's no allegation he called anybody else improperly. Would you provide, no, you got it, you got, we don't need statute numbers, we just added the domestic, we're all right. Yep.
Yes, he does, to my surprise. He wasn't drunk, he was drinking, there's a difference.
Okay, so the first testimony is he wasn't drunk.
No, my testimony is he was drinking alcohol.
Okay, but you just testified that he was slurring his speech.
When did I say that?
About a minute ago, we can have the court reporter read that. So is it you retracting that statement? He wasn't slurring his speech?
I don't recall saying he was slurring his speech.
Okay.
I said that he was drinking.
Okay. Now, you testified that at some point, he, as in Mr. Roche, had holded you by the neck.
Yes.
Okay, where were you in the living room? It's not,
On LLC.
so you were sitting down on left seat.
Well, she was sitting on the left seat, and I came to pull him off, and he flipped me over this way. I was standing beside him this way, with my back here, and he flipped
Okay,
this way.
let me break this down. Heather is sitting on the left seat.
Yes,
You are not sitting on the left seat.
not yet.
Okay. And at some point, you come to sit on the left seat.
No, I get thrown into the left seat.
Okay, at some point, your bottom is on the left seat.
Yes,
And that's the point at which he had both of his hands on each of your necks,
yes.
and then he lets go.
After us fighting him off, yes.
Okay. And then he leaves the room, right?
Well, the difference between our room and the kitchen is open, is between here and there,
He walks away from you and Heather.
for the first time.
Ma'am, just answer the damned questions.
No, it was 45 minutes.
Okay, so 45 minutes later, the police arrive.
Not even 45 minutes.
So fair to say you spoke with the police that evening.
What?
You talked to the police that evening, fair to say?
Yes, I did. And
Hang on, I'm going to ask you questions here. Did you call 911 or did somebody else call 911?
I would have called 911, and then I called 911.
So there should be 2 calls to 911.
Yes, there is.
Okay, and ultimately, I think a handful of officers were at 2 or 3 officers,
3 officers, 2 paramedics.
and they arrest Mr. Roche.
Yes,
And then you and Heather are like giving statements to the officers, right?
separately, yes.
Well, in fact, you and Heather were seated in the living room while you're talking to the officers about what happened now.
Actually, they separated them.
Okay. If I were to body camera showing that you and Heather were in the same room, that footage would be not that sound real.
We were in the same room, but when they were questioning, like doing the witness statement, no.
Okay. And you give a written statement to them?
Yes,
Okay, and you signed that statement?
yes.
Now, after that evening, did you ever go into contact with the police again about this case, to talk about this case?
Only on the phone.
Okay, and can I ask, who did you speak with on the phone?
I cannot tell you the officer's name.
Okay, you did talk to an officer on the phone. And when was that conversation? If you remember,
Years after that,
a couple days after?
yeah, the meeting just happened.
Okay, and then you also spoke with, the prosecutor, and you spoke with the officer, Officer Rice. And when you had this conversation with, let's start with, Detective Rice, was Heather there with you?
No.
And when you had a conversation with, Prosecutor Leckie, was Heather there with you?
No.
And when you spoke over the phone to whichever other Romulus PD or you're in PD, the Romulus?
Romulus.
Yeah. You spoke with them on your own? Just a moment there. And no further question.
Mr. Leckie,
Nothing further, Judge.
man, you step down, watch you step on my ramp. Next witness. Who's gonna get Heather?
Margaret, no, big day.
Ms. Crowell, all the way up front. Ms. Crowell, raise your right hand. Swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth today? Come on up here. Watch your step on this incline ramp. Settle in that chair. When you're ready, Mr. Leckie.
Good afternoon, Doug. Now, I'm gonna ask you to speak in this microphone, it's a recording microphone, and, right? Yes. So, I'm gonna ask you first to state colors.
So I mean, HG, speak model, OW, L,
And do you know Mr. Charlotte?
I would
Is he here for?
speak this,
No.
speak for HG.
Sure. So, what's your relationship? And then, based on your statement of he's wanting to make sure, I'm gonna ask the record, reflect the mistake.
Noted.
So, were you in 601 the West Bay Dole, Vermont, Michigan, 11-3, and were you there? Now, I understand there's a point in time in which, the bank came in contact with you that he's been, you were on the website, that, okay, tell us what happened.
I'm saying I want to see, he walked through the door, like he would call, he would just say yes to me, sitting there, I told him, I said, Sean, people kids, that can save me. I don't know what was that on. He did her. He, like, let's for it. They're going to take that off.
And stop me just there. Take a second, I'm gonna ask another question, right? So, you said his hands were around your neck, correct? Like he does. So, you're indicating both of his hands, correct? Okay. When he's showing you, if you had a struggle breathing.
I couldn't yell, I couldn't scream.
No. And you remember, you probably know that when we just see right in that, what you're talking about, below or anything. And so, now you mentioned that, with that,
And he's not allowed, who made those saying that.
so you look there, yes, or terms, yes, okay. Now, what happened after he's, okay, you said Alan comes out, correct?
Yes.
What happened after that?
Going came out, holding off a That's when I know I looked over and got her, you know, because both of us can't, but I was, and her.
And what happened with it?
I don't know how, I can't remember how she got, I know she was trying to kill to release. He did that so, well, back here like this, I had a hair couple, and she, I really,
And after that,
he started falling asleep, crazy things. He goes to the kitchen, he got his uncles and go back. He ended up going to the kitchen, opening up the door, he sat in that, he hurt,
and what does he do with that?
he did, like that, crazy.
So you're gesturing your hand, your elbow bend with your hand out, and you're saying you punched your neck with it, but like this, right? And now, how close is that neck to you?
It wasn't very close, he like up here,
And
he wasn't touching anything.
now, after that day, have you had
He has falls.
so many home, your home,
His phone, because he doesn't have my phone number.
and have you answered that?
I know,
How many times did he call?
so
And what does he tell you in those phones?
he told me that he's sorry, that he loved me because of the number what happened. That he does have a alcohol problem and he wants to get out. He did also try to get me not to come today.
So I'm gonna break that down. So in some of these phone calls, he said he's sorry. What is he sorry for?
For what he did,
Meaning this incident?
yes.
And then, on the other thing, you said he tried getting out of, how did he do that?
He called me, he said, please don't know, please talk to them while I'm here.
And Val was so,
So they had to say that finally,
that Valerie you talked about her death. So he's made statements to you about that, and you're not on the court saying about her death. I don't know.
Ms. Pilkowitz, your witness.
Briefly, Ed. Ms. Crowell, Powell, yeah, you tell me who, for Powell. I just have a few questions for you, okay? You said that night that, Mr. Fox was drunk. Mr. Roche, wow. It's been a long week, Ms. Lopez. That Sean, Mr. Roche, was drunk. And it was your understanding to just come back to the bar, right? And you knew he was drunk because he physically intoxicated them. That includes things like slurring his speech, right? Wobbling around. Yes, not having very good hand-eye coordination. And this is obviously not the first time that you've seen, Mr. Roche drink, or don't be drunk. And I can see that you're getting emotional, so take a minute if you need it.
Joe. And did you take this and so
And I'm not asking for it in your, professional opinion, in your personal opinion. He is a very problem. Genius. And you want him to get help. I do. Now, and I help and need treatment. True. Now, after the day of this incident, you yourself are very Jana. I know, Mary. You yourself are using your.
I only do that and I spoke with sleep.
Okay, and were you taking any other prescription medications all the time?
I will.
Now, you said that Mr. Roshi called several times, yes? And he actually called his own phone number. Did you answer his phone?
Yes, maybe the other one I don't.
This might be an odd question. In the last 10 years, you have been involved with theft or dishonesty?
No. That's the, what was I looking at this?
And you never sought medical attention after this? Did you call 911 or did you,
I did call 911.
okay.
And then, went up to the kitchen, we got her phone,
And you saw her call 911?
yeah. And then actually on the phone with them.
When they arrived? Okay, and about 2 or 3 police officers arrived.
Oh, yes.
They arrested Mr. Burchett. And then they, took statements from you. And when they're asking you about what happened, you guys are both sitting in the living room. And you're telling them, what happened.
Yes.
Did you sign a written statement? After that, you talked to the officer again about,
He came to the house to me.
let me pause, who's he, if you know?
Officer,
This officer in the courtroom?
no,
Okay, a different officer. Was it one of the officers who responded?
he was on the scene.
Okay, and do you recall when that was?
Without, I heard he showed up. Oh,
Sorry.
did I say?
The next day? Okay. So one of the same police officers who responded around 9:30 p.m. came back the next day. And, did you have a conversation with him that day?
Yes,
About what happened?
yes. He had asked me about the signs and make sure I was okay.
And was down home?
She was napping.
Do you know what he talked about as well?
No, he didn't have.
After that, did you ever speak with Officer Rice sitting right here, Detective Rice?
No.
Okay, and you spoke with the prosecutor today?
Yeah.
And have you spoken with any prior to this incident?
Yes.
Do you recall how many times?
But she was really having.
Just 1 moment, Tim.
Sure.
I know the button.
I don't even judge.
Then you can step down, watch your step on my ramp. Next witness.
Officer Rain. Officer Rain, I'm going to go grab one. Or you want to go over?
Inspector Junior, come on up. Raise your right hand. Swear affirm with your information containing the affidavit is true to the best of your information knowledge and belief. Come on up. How you doing?
Good, how's it going?
Good. Do me a favor. You get downstairs, just ask one of the clerks. Make copy. It's just, I don't, the affidavit, just the warrant itself. Tell them to get it up to me. Okay? Thank you. Be safe. Chris, come on up. Raise your right hand. Swear affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Settle it. When you're ready, Mr. Mackey.
Who's say your name, go ahead.
Officer Chris Rain?
And Officer Rain, you're a police officer for Parish Division.
Right.
And we're calling to a 601 West vehicle from Michigan on 11/3/2025 in the evening. What were you calling it for?
Domestic involving, a possible domestic involvement.
And did you make contact, you went to the scene? Did you make contact with any individual?
I did.
Who did you make contact with?
It was a Valerie, a Heather, and a Sean. Portia.
And when you made contact, did you do any basic investigation? What was going on? Okay, and what did you discover?
Before after using us.
Before he was in custody, so you're saying, so based on my names, there's someone was in custody, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and how did that begin?
So we get the information that it's possible domestic with a knife involved. Make contact at the house. I am met by, I'll be honest with you, I can't recall which female. One at the front door, or one at the, just outside the door, one just inside the door. We were advised originally that he may not have the knife. The way the house is set up, I kind of had to, we call it cutting the pie. I had to kind of like inch my way in to try to see where he was. Once I finally was able to get eyes, he is in the kitchen area. He's behind a counter that's about waist level, wearing a hoodie, hands in his pockets. Can't see his hands. Giving him verbal commands. I need to see his hands because they verbally told me that that the knife was gone, but I can't confirm nor deny that knife.
And you said it was a male individual?
Yeah.
Correct. And is that male individual present?
Just to.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. And so you said you're verbally asking him to show, you're verbally asking him to show his names, right? How many times did you ask him?
It's a certain, but three or more.
3 or more? Okay, and does he comply?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what action do you take then?
Well, so he actually got a little bit more aggressive. He, with one hand, where the counter is, he's standing up, it's covering his waist. He swipes a bunch of items, across the counter. Again, you and I know that in a kitchen area, what do you find in that area? Knives. So once he does that, he becomes more aggressive after I give him verbal commands. I advised him, I to be honest with you, I actually advised him I was gonna shoot him because I didn't know what was happening at the time. But I decided to go to my secondary weapon, and I was able to.
And you did tase him?
Yeah.
And you say you feel more aggressive, what did you do?
That's, so when I advised him to show me his hand, instead of just showing me his hand like most individuals would, he aggressively swipes items while staring at me, which appears to be that matter than me becoming more aggressive, more agitated with me, and completely disregarding what I was asking him to do.
And then the
It's Officer Rand.
Yeah.
You saw me on November 3rd of 25 to the location, correct?
And that, of course,
Yeah. You ever go back to that location? Okay, when did you go back to the location?
a couple weeks later,
A couple weeks later.
Yep.
What was the nature of that call?
there was no call.
Okay, so check on the victim.
Yeah,
Did you speak with the victim?
I did.
Did you prepare a report?
Did I prepare a report?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so, I mean, she's a witness in an investigation, correct? And you're familiar with the Brown policies, yes? And so whenever you're speaking with a witness, you should document that in report.
Not if it's not of any nature like that, and I went to basically console with the victim of a domestic to make sure that she.
So you went there in your personal capacity or were you investigating for
I
it?
was even,
Body cam was activated?
I possibly, I don't recall if I turned her body came on to speak with the victim to see if she's okay.
Is that the only other time you went to that location?
Yeah.
As it pertains to this case? With my, sorry, I didn't clarify.
Since the day that it happened, yes, it's the only.
No further question.
You sit down, Chris. Be safe. No, you're good. Oh, I said be safe.
Oh.
Happy Thanksgiving, Tim. Next witness.
One brief last witness, Detective, Detective.
Detective, raise your right hand, swear affirm, tell the truth, all the truth, nothing but the truth. It's settling. Yep, thank you. When you ready, Mr. Radke?
So, Detective Rex, are you connected with a case? Well, first of all, you're a detective, what is a detective?
Detectives, a lot of things, but in this case, it's, someone that investigates crimes that from a patrol level that with the next step that takes further investigations. This case follows the court process.
Okay. And as a part of that, what duties are you involved in? Related to the.
Actually, in this case, there was arrest made. It's my job to look at an investigation report, submit that down to the prosecutor, investigate, and then submit it for charges, and then once they come back, follow through where we're here now.
And in this case, are you involved in the booking process?
I am.
Okay, and describe that for.
So in this case, I'm not only in charge of like formally fingerprinting and booking them. In this case, the defendant was brought in the evening. He had given the officers, when it came to my desk, it said it gave him a hard time as far as like wanting to be processed, which is fingerprinting. I need that stuff to, when I submit that to a prosecutor, they want that, it's called a live scan, which in technical terms is just his fingerprints, his basic identification stuff. That wasn't done due to his, one of the officers is being aggravated. The bosses said that he just was not complying with anything. So before I started my investigation, I make it a habit to try to either interview them or just speak to them. In this case, I spoke to him that morning, about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning when I got in, to see if he would let me process him, because that's the only way I could follow through with him. He basically told me in so many words, it's fine in jail, basically fuck off, it's jargon language. I'm not, go ahead and do what you gotta do, I'll fight you. You know, I never shy away, but in this case, it said it's too early in the morning. So I did not, it was never processed that I know of, prior to this, where he is now.
And the processing is based on repeatable, but
Correct. It's a requirement that, for them to go to Wayne County Jail and basically put their ID in the system.
and in your estimate, do you know how the kind of activity?
A couple, and basically explain to him, look, this is what I do, if you don't get this, you may not get out, this hinders your process to get out of here. You need to be defined, and you don't have to wait.
Counsel, you witness? You can step down.
Yeah.
Any other prosecution witnesses? Ms. Pilkowitz, any defense witnesses? I'm ready for argument.
So we were reserved for a rebuttal on council on Group 5.
Thank you.
I do briefly want to just discuss the
Amended? Go ahead.
after 1 second. I'm just gonna I hold it on side for my
Sure.
statutory language. I had the other half.
Yeah, and I have the jury, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of jury instruction, let's start with the animal first degree killing or torturing a companion. According to the jury instructions, I have proved that the defendant intentionally intent. I'm going to argue is inferred intent based on his action where he, we heard testimony, he sat on the dog and started punching it in the ribs. He has to intentionally torture, mutilate, maim, or disfigure. I'm going to submit to the court that torturing was done in this case. He pushed this animal over, he sat on top of it, started beating it on the ribs about 4 or 5 times. And secondly, the people have to prove that the defendant tortured the animal. It wasn't a companion animal, it was, as we heard, witness Valerie's pet. Companion animal is commonly considered to be a pet or considered by the complainant to be a pet, which it was in this case. Third, we have to prove that it caused mental anguish or distress. We saw that complainant who did get emotional, but I was talking about the majority of that get a little bit emotional. She was talking about the pet did get injured. So I think the people have met that standard by a probable cause. I'm sorry. We have met those elements by a probable cause standard. The additional domestic violence count, and we heard about the assaults through the strangulation, and it came out that the defendant lived with her for about 3 months, so I think the domestic violence is appropriate. It would be a third offense, which is why I have to argue it now. Actually, technically, it's a seventh offense, but we'll go up to 3. And count 8 is interfering with the witness. We have to prove that the individual was testifying. Heather did come and testify, Judge. Second, that the defendant either interfered or prevented to or attempted to interfere, prevent, or obstruct from attending and testifying or providing we heard testimony. Third, that the defendant intended to impede. Didn't mention this conversation with Heather saying, don't come to court. I don't want you or Valerie to come to this court hearing. And fourth, that the proceeding of the criminal case charging the crime with maximum punishment of 1 to 10 years. Both corresponding armed charges that he's currently charged with are over 10 years. So he can met all of those charges beyond, or all those elements of the additional charges as well as the current charges beyond the probable.
This hearing brings together 3 serious charges. First, the animal cruelty claim. The dog's owner says the animal was pinned down and struck multiple times, growing emotional as she describes it. The defense insists this is assault, not torture. Second, the domestic violence charge. A witness recalls being grabbed by the neck during a fight, with someone else stepping in before the defendant walked away like nothing happened. Third, and the most contested, witness tampering. From jail, the defendant allegedly told the witness not to come to court. The prosecution calls it intimidation. The defense says a single request doesn't meet the legal threshold. and the two sides end up disagreeing over which part of the statute even applies, forcing the judge to clarify the law himself. Add to this the police account of a tense standoff at the house, with hidden hands and ignored commands before a taser was used, and a detective's account of the defendant refusing routine booking afterward. In the end, the judge rejects every attempt to downgrade the charges. The case moves to arraignment in full.